right, everybody, welcome back to the Good Old Hockey Podcast. It is me, Sean. I'm here without Gally. Gally, our gracious co-host. He's busy working in the ECHL for the Bloomington Bison, having a great time out there. But it's been a while, and we're back. I have a new co-host that's going to be filling in for Gally. He's a buddy of mine. He is a former SJSU hockey player. He's a college hockey player, so we've got some experience. We've got some experience in this room now. But please, everyone, welcome Mr. Alan Mupus. He is going to be the new co-host with me. Alan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. College hockey is a little bit of a stretch there. well, shout out to the ACHA boys.
Hey, it's on the resume.
College hockey's college hockey, all right?
Yeah, it is. Hey, you played hockey and you were in college, so.
That is a fact for a short period of time. But
yeah. But Alan's a longtime friend of mine. I've played with him, actually currently playing with him on men's league here in Idaho. Shout out Grizzlies.
Greatest men's league team ever assembled.
Yep. Greatest men's league team in the state of Idaho, and ever assembled, like you said. But yeah, we've known Alan for since high school. Played 13, here and there together.
14.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It'll be fun. We've had a lot of debates and things, so could get spicy here. You never know on the Good Old Hockey Podcast now, but that's where it becomes fun. But Alan, we always did this to start. How's life been for you?
Life's been just fantastic. I got no complaints. I'm a big Sharks fan here. They just went on a 3-game win streak, so yeah. I'm buzzing.
Yeah. As am I. So you've actually got you guys watching. Got 2 Sharks fans on here, so
let's go.
Unbiased takes are not a thing here because we both believe in the same team. We're not going to be biased at all. I'm kidding. We're going to have a 10-minute Shark talk at the end, just for our amusement at the end of every episode. So if you are a Sharks fan, stick around for that. If not, you can kick rocks. But yeah, life's been it's been crazy. I don't think we've put out a episode in about a month. Been trying to figure some things out just with Gally's work schedule and stuff, but it's been tough. So here we are, excited. Season is underway. We got some crazy shakeups and stuff like that, but we're going to jump into coast to coast, something we just talked about, the league all around. First thing that's pretty notable on the agenda is Alex Ovechkin. He's currently got 7 goals in 11 games. And we all know what record he's chasing. Seems like he's chasing pretty hard. But, Alan, do you think Alex Ovechkin hits that record this year?
Yes. I'm going to say yes on this. I know it's a long shot. Obviously, He's a bit older now. And Father Time is catching up with him. But I think he's still got that shot. He's still a power play go-to guy. And he's been lighting up the league for the first part of this season. I think he's got 7 goals now. Yeah. I think it's completely doable. It's not like we haven't seen Ovi score 40 goals before, and he's well in pace right now.
Yeah, he needs 35 more, so 42 at the end of the season. I don't know. I think it could be possible. It's Alex Ovechkin at the end of the day. I know he's a little bit older now, but that shot in these last 11 games hasn't looked like it's slowed down at all. So I don't know. I really don't see it as like a. It's possible. It's a long shot, but it's possible, and I'd love to see it happen.
As long as John Carlson and Dylan Strome can keep finding him in that circle,
yeah,
I think anything is possible. I think he could be chasing 1,000.
1,000 goals
might be a little stretch, but
yeah, maybe just a little bit. Who cares?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's crazy because he's 39 now, so he'd have another. To think that he has another season too is crazy to do.
Yeah, easy.
He's 40 years old, but it doesn't look like anything's slowing him down. Even though he's eating Subway and McDonald's before the game. Goat move.
Drinking Coke on the bench, joining Phil Kessel.
I will say, even for me, eating beef rice and eggs before games and a beer, I still can't do what he's doing. And the fact that he's able to do that on his diet, and I try to clean up my diet before a game. I go out there and fall 5 times a game. It's unbelievable. 2024.
Cleaning up that diet, including at least a couple Coors banquets before games.
Ah. Yeah, I guess I forgot about that part. But that's like his diet Coke, you know.
Yeah.
A little sugar
Same
rush
deal.
before the game. Yeah, same deal. And it's in some smelling salts.
Yeah,
No.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's possible, though. I think he gets there. He's going to get very close this season.
Yeah.
I think 30 is definitely in his wheelhouse, at least.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get probably 35 to 40 goals, and I think if he gets that close, he's going to do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he'll definitely do it. I don't see, assuming he stays healthy, in praying for it. But you know, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to break it. Especially he'll definitely do it by next season. But we'll see about this season. But second thing we're going to talk about is Nashville Predators. And Alan, in our group chat for our men's league team, I know this is your favorite thing to bring up with one of our buddies who's a Preds fan. So I'll let you take the floor on this one.
I believe they're currently sitting in 31st place. I think they have one more point than the San Jose Sharks, the 2024-25 San Jose Sharks.
They do.
And they just spent how much money in the offseason bringing in Stamkos, bringing in Brady Shea, bringing in just a bunch of guys like that, right?
Yeah.
Jonathan Marshall said that's the name I was forgetting. I didn't want to say anything, but it's honestly embarrassing. I know it takes some time to put the team together, but they're god-awful. They gave $8 million to an older Steven Stamkos. Frankly, Steven Stamkos has not been prime Steven Stamkos for a few years now. I know he put up 90 points last year or whatever it was, but he has not been vintage Steven Stamkos for a while. Yeah. He's injury prone and he's getting older. That was probably – it's one of the worst signings I've seen in the last 5 years, right?
Really? Okay.
It's going to age poorly. 8 years.
Yeah. The number on that is –
I think it's 4 years. Either way, 4 years, $8 million.
Yeah.
$8 million. He currently, I think the last time I checked, he had 2 goals. So you're currently paying him $4 million a goal. I know it's still early, but it's going to look awful, especially 2-3 years down the line.
Yeah. I think the best way to describe the Predators this season is Penguins last season. They go out and they get Erik Karlsson, helped us the fuck out as a Sharks fan. Thank you for that, Penguins, by the way.
Shout out Pittsburgh.
Yeah. It's essentially a retirement home out there in Nashville. You know, also Jonathan Marshall said, I feel for him because like the Knights just kind of screwed him out of, you know, team he wanted to sign with. But yeah, I think that Steven Stamkos signing, it is very early and I'm kind of just shitting on them to shit on them. But to be 1 point ahead of the Sharks is pretty embarrassing because we have not done anything except for that. I guess we had a three game bender that we, you know,
boys are going 71-1 after that game. Simple.
Yeah. It's not that hard. It's doable.
Yeah. I don't think with this roster it's happening, but a man can hope, right?
Here's all the Sharks have to do in order to get that. They just have to win every single game from here on out. And they're going to be, 70, set the record for best regular season. All they have to do is win every single game, though.
All they have to do is win out for the next 70-something games, right? And they'll be 70. They'll go 72-8-2. 69-game win streak. Could happen.
Take it one game at a time. All you got to do is win one game each game. Win each period. That's all you got to do. Not even each period. You could lose a period, but if you win a majority of the periods, they will be the best regular season team in the country.
It's gonna happen.
And this is what we bring, me and Alan, this journalism that we're doing right now. This is what we bring to the table for you guys. Is this kind of hard-hitting? We're bringing the facts up. I'm sorry. Okay.
It's a fact.
It is.
It's got to win 69 more games. Great number, by the way.
It is a great number. And that's a lucky number. So I think it's possible.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, on to the next. Igor Shesterkin, some drama. We kind of missed it with little bit old, but we're going to bring it up anyways because it's kind of interesting. And really the only hot piece of news that's coming out of the NHL right now as of recording. Sure, there'll be something tomorrow that we're going to kick ourselves for. But Igor Shesterkin turns down $88 million, $88 million for 8 years for a total of $11 million a year. He turns that down. Alan, why in his right mind did he turn that down? Do you know?
He turned it down because, although I hate saying this because I'm not an Igor Shesterkin fan, I'm an Igor Shesterkin hater. He's the best goalie in the NHL, right? I don't think anybody who genuinely watches the NHL and keeps up with the NHL doesn't believe that he is the best, or at minimum the second best behind Connor Hellebuck.
Yeah.
And I love to say he's terrible, but realistically he's not, right? He's worth all the money in the world. The reason why I have a problem with this, right, is there's been 2 goalies who have ever made over $10 million a season. One of them being Carey Price, who's the greatest goalie of our generation. The second one being Sergei Bobrovsky, who's up there, right?
Yeah.
The problem that I have with this contract is, if I'm a Rangers fan, I don't want them to dump, $11+ million into a goalie every year. We've kind of seen over the last 3 years, we've had one really elite goalie win a Stanley Cup. The other 2, Darcy Kemper, won it with Colorado back in 2021. In 2022, Aiden Hill won the Cup with Vegas. Those are not guys you pay $11 million a season to, right? Those are $6-7 million, maybe if that, goalies. Darcy
Aiden Hill was making way less than that.
Aiden Hill, I think, is worth more than Darcy Kemper, but I think Darcy Kemper makes more than him. Either way, we've kind of seen that in today's NHL, today's high-scoring hockey, you don't need a goalie that is going to be the best of the best, right? You want one.
Yeah.
But you can win with an average to slightly above average goalie. Why would you dump $11+ million a season into a goalie who it doesn't really seem like he wants to stay there?
Yeah, that too.
You're going to have to overpay for him to stay, and that's already an overpayment for a goalie.
Yeah.
Why would you keep him around? That's a controversial opinion, but
no, it's tough because it's like, I mean, we've seen this. I mean, I feel like it's going to get less and less, but those teams that pay players over $10 million a year don't have any cups.
Yeah, I think the Avs were the first one 2 years ago with McKinnon. Wait, no, it was Vegas with Jack Eichel. Because McKinnon was still on his $6-point-something million contract when they won. So there have been 2 $10 million players to win a cup. And we're talking about Bobrovsky.
One Sergei Bobrovsky, yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one is going to be Jack Eichel, who he was a big part of that team. But
and also, we know what Vegas did that year. So the whole cap Vegas thing. Yeah, the whole cap thing doesn't really apply to Vegas, actually. So we're gonna leave out Jack Eichel's name for that just because there's some circumventing going on. But
it's still because they've had Jack Eichel for a couple of years now, and they didn't win it before. It's like having a player that's played that high, you have worse depth unless you completely circumvent the cap.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
especially
even
all that in a goalie.
Yeah. I guess we weren't that far away from McDavid and Draisaitl both winning a cup, but we literally won 2 goals away from that. But still, I mean, I think it's to dump that much. And I mean, I think the salary cap's going to keep going up. I've heard some rumors that it might break 100 mil in the next couple of years. I don't know what you do in that situation. Like truly, like what do the Rangers even do to keep Shesterkin around? Like I just don't think he wants to.
It's one of those things where if you don't sign for $11 million a season, you'd be the highest paid goalie in NHL history, right?
Yeah.
You don't sign for $11 million a season. Do you really want to stay in New York?
Yeah.
And then you look at it from the Rangers' perspective, they're going to have to sign Lafreniere in a couple of years. I think it's next season. They have to sign Alexis Lafreniere, and he's having a breakout year.
Yep.
Like, what are you going to do when you have Laffy's going to be making 10+ a year? I almost guarantee it. You're going to have 2 guys that are making over $10 million a season, which I think the only other team that has that, well, I guess Toronto had it for a while, and look how it worked out for them, and then Edmonton has it.
Yeah.
it's not working out. Like, you got to spread that money around to get better pieces down the lineup.
Yeah.
I just don't see it working out if they do end up signing him, even if the cap goes up.
Yeah, and that's a lot of money. Like 11 mil, even if the cap goes up a couple million, it's just still so much money. And like you said, Lafreniere also needs to be re-signed soon. So, I don't really know what they do in that situation.
Yeah.
I think because does he still have another year after this year? Or are they doing it early, or is this his last season?
This is his last season. I think he's still an RFA because he's 25, 26, something like that. So he's still an RFA, so they don't necessarily have to sign him, I believe.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you want to sign. You don't want to go to arbitration with that guy.
No.
And then have him sign a 1-year contract and deal with it again in another year when he's not an RFA.
That's what Boston just went through.
Yeah.
And this is Igor Shesterkin too, not Jeremy Swayman's a great goalie, but this is Igor Shesterkin. So, yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be crazy what happens with that, but we'll follow it along this year. I'm sure it'll come up again.
Yep.
But last thing on this coast to coast is contender or pretender. Alan's going to name some teams here, and I'm going to name some teams, and you're going to tell me if they're a contender or a pretender. The Minnesota Wild.
They're pretenders. That team, I love the Wild. Kirill Kaprizov's one of my favorite players in the NHL. They have 4 guys, and their goalie, Philip Gustafson, is playing out of his mind right now.
He is.
Which is why they've seen as much success. I think that's a huge reason as to why they've seen as much success. Him and Kirill Kaprizov carrying the team on his back. He does also have a goal. That was awesome. It's just one of those things. I don't think it's sustainable for an entire season. I do think they're a playoff team. Yeah. I think they're getting out of that Ryan Suter, Zach Parise fiasco a couple seasons ago, where they have a good younger core on cheaper contracts. Mm-hmm. But I don't foresee them being this 55, 60 win team. I think they're max going to squeak into the playoffs and probably the 3rd playoff spot in the Central Conference.
Yeah.
The Central Division, pardon me, not conference. I think the Avs are going to get a lot better. There are teams behind them that are going to get a lot better over the course of the season. They're going to fall off a bit. I think they'll still be in the playoffs, though.
Yeah, I think the Central right now, we kind of looked at it before we were recording, just at the, standings and things. And I think the Central is just really odd right now, seeing some of these teams down and where they're at. Colorado being as low as they are. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be the top 3 again: Winnipeg, Dallas, and Colorado. And honestly, Utah, I just don't know if Utah's going to do it. I could see Minnesota. I do too. I hope Minnesota and Utah are fighting for that late spot. And again, it's like we said before, like it's kind of tough to judge some of these teams on where they are in the standings at this point because it's so early. There's only 12 games played. I think come December, January is when we can really kind of start seeing that playoff picture come to life. But right now it's just so early. It's hard to tell. Mm-hmm. But next team I have for you, the New Jersey Devils.
I think the New Jersey Devils are going to finally break out this year. They got their goalie. They got their guy in net. I know I was just talking about how you don't need a goalie to be great, right? But you need a goalie to be good.
Yeah.
At least if you have a defensive core that's as young as they are. You're led by Luke Hughes, and I think they have Dougie Hamilton back now. But I think that's a legit wagon. I think they're going to go maybe not deep in the playoffs, but they're a 2nd or 3rd round team. I think they're a contender for the Stanley Cup, which is going to be really fun to see Jack Hughes playing late in the year, late in the season, I should say. They're a contender, I think, 100%.
Yeah, I think New Jersey, like you said with the goalie thing, I think the biggest thing too is just you got to have a good goalie to make the playoffs, but you got to have a goalie on fire to win the Stanley Cup. I think that's what makes it so tough is like we see all these runs that these teams make, and it usually comes from the dude between the pipes. Vegas, somehow Aiden Hill just came out of nowhere and was just stopping everything. Also, I mean, Vegas had a great defense that year, but And then also Bobrovsky, him doing him. But
Mm-hmm.
Markstrom's a good goalie, and I think he's someone that we'll see if he can turn it on when it needs to be. But yeah, I mean, I really think that this Devils team, I'm excited, like you said, to see Jack Hughes playing hopefully later in the season, opposed to his like normal first round exit. And just seeing, because they always say like, oh, we're in the golden age of hockey, and I feel like none of these players are really shining as of late, at least in the playoffs, besides like McDavid, obviously. But it's always been these, yeah, it is every year. But yeah,
I think you made a great point with it's more important to have a goalie that's hot in the playoffs than it is to have a good goalie in general.
Yeah.
You look at, I mean, you go back to 2016 with Matt Murray winning the Cup with the Penguins. Matt Murray's not an elite goalie who got hot at the right time. He got extremely hot. He was unbeatable. In the 2016 playoffs, obviously they had a good team around him. They won the Stanley Cup. But 2017, same deal. He replaced Marc-Andre Fleury as a starter again. Won the Cup there. 2018, Braden Holtby was a great goalie in his time, but he was at the back half of his career. He was not the Braden Holtby that's, competing for Vezinas anymore.
Yeah.
19, Jordan Binnington.
Yeah.
That guy's mid.
Yeah,
but he got really good at the right time.
Yeah. Jordan Binnington. Yeah. No, I think it's honestly like, it just seems like all these goalies, like, what was I going to say? I mean, even Bobrovsky, for example, he was a great goaltender throughout his whole career. He's at the tail end now, but he was great, but never really had a chance to shine in the playoffs, I guess you could say.
He won Vezinas I think both of his Vezinas came on Columbus.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
So,
Columbus sucked.
Kind of crazy.
He won one playoff round the entire time he was there.
Yeah. So stuff like that, where it's like you can't expect some of these amazing goalies to take you. It's always just these random little spurts of heroism. And honestly, like Bobrovsky's the latest goalie to really have that that shining moment as of lately. So I don't know, interesting to see. But last team, the Washington Capitals.
Washington Capitals suck. They're pretenders. I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs. I love Alex Ovechkin. Okay. I hope for the rest of the season, Alex Ovechkin scores a goal every game. I hope he has an amazing season, breaks all the records, breaks Gretzky's record, whatever, right? But I don't think that team is a playoff team. I think they're sitting in third in the NHL. There's something crazy like that. It might not be that high up.
Third in the Metro, at least.
Third in the Metro. Either way, I don't think they're that good of a team. Dylan Strome has 17 points in 11 games. His highest point scoring season before this season so far, at least the pace that he's on, was 67 points.
Jeez.
He's a great player. Great second line center on a very good team. He's not your first line center that's going to win you Stanley Cup. No. He's not the first line center that's going to take you, to a President's Trophy or whatever. I think that team is as pretender gets, just like last year when they made the playoffs with a negative goal differential. Like it's not it's not feasible. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I think even what were they last year? They were the 4 spot. They were the wild card team, one of them.
They were the second wild card team in the East.
Yeah.
I believe.
I mean,
yeah.
Because didn't they get in over Detroit? Or was that
they did? They got in over Detroit on the last day of the season.
They ruined the magical comeback for the Red Wings, all those games they had. So this is karma coming back for them. But Ovi still is going to score a lot of goals, but I don't see them making the playoffs. I think the Islanders are going to creep back up. I think they'll figure their shit out. Pittsburgh,
they're too good of a team.
Yeah. Columbus, I don't think they're going to do anything. Philadelphia, no. But that wraps that up. So we're going to go into the award prediction. So last year we did this before the season started, but obviously with the circumstances, we're here. So we're going to do it beginning of the post mid-season. So we kind of know who's ahead right now. A little bit of cheating, but you know what? we're working with what we got. So
Yeah.
we'll go back and forth. We're going to start with the Hart Memorial Trophy. I've got Nikita Kucherov. I think, especially with McDavid, I would have picked McDavid to start the year off, but now we know he's injured. Don't know how long yet, but I'm going to go with Nikita Kucherov. He lit the league up last year, and I think he's going to continue to do that. I think Tampa is going to be a good team this year. But Kucherov he's hard not to pick. And I think there's a lot of players you could pick for that. But who do you have for Hart?
For the Hart Trophy, I have Kirill Kaprizov. Like I was saying earlier about the Minnesota Wild being pretenders, I think they're going to make the playoffs, and it's going to be on the back of Kirill Kaprizov. So far this season, I think he is the front runner. He's led Minnesota to 11-1-0. Or not 11-1-0. They're like 8-1-2, pardon me. But still, it's an unreal start for him. Obviously, I don't think he's going to hold that up to where he's, leading the league in points.
Yeah.
But I do think that if they go anywhere, it's going to be on the back of Kirill Kaprizov. He's like, what's the character in Dora? Backpack. Like, it's what he is right now for that team. Yeah. That's the backpack.
Yeah. Whatever. I could definitely see that. I mean, if they have a magical run too, like, or at least just if he can carry their ass to the playoffs, then why not give it to him?
Yeah.
But yeah, Norris, I'm pretty sure we have the same pick here. It's going to be Cale Makar again. Obviously off to a hot start, wasn't injured this year. So, good to see that. Do you know how Quinn Hughes is doing? Is he?
I did not check. I know he has been good, but he is not. The second leading point scorer for defenseman is Josh Morrissey. I know that. He's got like 15 points. And frankly, the Norris is a points competition for defensemen.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
So I don't think it's even close. I think
Quinn has 9 points.
Quinn has 9 points. Not a bad start. I mean, think about it relatively. It's a defense.
Yeah.
And I do think Vancouver is also going to get better as the season goes along. They haven't been great. They just had a battle with the Sharks, which is brutal. They won with 30 seconds left. Yeah, you only beat our team with 30 seconds left. You suck. No.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be much of a competition this year. We have a healthy Cale Makar. It's a points competition at this point, but I think even you take away that fact, I still think he's the best defenseman in the NHL.
Yeah.
And he's been showing it this year. He's kind of been carrying the Avs, even though they haven't been good. He's been the only bright spot. Nathan McKinnon hasn't been great, at least at this point in the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a pretty easy pick.
Yeah. No, Norris is pretty much, like we said, just a point thing. I kind of hope that they have something for a defensive defenseman. Don't know if that'll ever happen, but Norris is pretty much just whoever the highest scoring defenseman is at this point, which is sad. As a fellow defenseman myself, I get depressed when you just see who can provide on offense. It's like, that's not what a defenseman is. Defenseman defends the home. And a lot of times, like my trife with Erik Karlsson, blood pressure's going up. My beef with these offensive defensemen sometimes is just their lack of defense. And it's like, you're just a fourth winger at this point.
Yeah.
I think if it's a player that can play defense, great, but it's not very many of them that are like that.
If I know he's had a bad start to the season, at least statistically, I think that if there was if the Norris was awarded correctly and not just to the defenseman who, provides the most on offense, I think Charlie McAvoy would probably win it year in, year out. He's had a bad start to the season.
That. Yeah.
Bruins have not been great, but he is phenomenal all around. The other guy, Mackenzie Weegar, gets like zero recognition, but he is phenomenal on both sides of the puck.
Yeah.
I think that's what we should be judging the Norris off of.
Yeah.
Then again, Cale Makar is phenomenal on both sides of the puck as well.
Yeah,
so
he is. Cale. Yeah. Cale's
if he wins it, I'm not mad.
Yeah. Cale's a different he's an outlier in a lot of this, but a lot of time, like when Erik Karlsson, never mind, I'm not going to bring it up.
It's
like
him,
subject. Like it is a sore subject because everyone glazed him in the Sharks fandom, and I'm just like, he's the reason our team fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not him. I guess it was Doug Wilson, but
we let Pavelski walk so we could sign him.
Yeah, and look what happened.
Didn't help.
Look where we're at now. So,
dude,
anyways,
we're almost beating the Canucks. Come on,
it's
3-game winning streak.
3-game winning streak,
Kings.
and then that was so awesome. Like to beat the Kings, I was like, all right,
I felt good.
That's all I need. If we beat the Kings, the Knights, and the Predators, I'll be happy.
That's all I care about
with the season. If we get those wins there, if we have 9 wins left, but
that's funny.
It's not gonna happen.
That's true.
But next one, the Rocket Richard, most goals. Who do you got?
So I am kind of looking at just who's leading the league right now, and I was a big fan of Sam Reinhart last year, putting up 50 goals. That's insane. He's just now, it seems like he's just now stepping out of his shell. Obviously, he was drafted, I think, 3rd overall back in
right before
20. It was 2013, 14. It was, I think, it was 3rd overall in 2014.
Yep.
I think it's pretty cool to see he's finally kind of fulfilling that 3rd overall pick.
Yeah.
Kind of potential, and he's always been a great player and has been since he was drafted.
It's just really funny also for Buffalo because they just can't anything, and then Jack Eichel goes off to win a Stanley Cup, and Sam Reinhart is now, and those are both those 2 picks right there. Yeah. God, Buffalo.
He's had a hot start this season. I think that he is Matthew Tkachuk. I think Matthew Tkachuk and Alexander Barkov are still the guys in Florida, but he's the guy that's getting fed.
Yeah.
Both of those guys, Tkachuk can score some goals, Barkov can score some goals, but they both get a lot of assists.
Yeah.
I think he's the guy that people are going to go to. So that's my pick for Rocket.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. Mine's a little out there, but this is a new year and we don't know. My pick is Mr. Cole Caulfield to be exact. He put on that number 13 on his back in remembrance of Johnny Gaudreau, and it's helping him out because he's also tied for first in goals right now. Mm-hmm. The only issue with this pick for me is that he's often referred to as the greatest 40 goal scorer to never score 40
I was about
goals.
To say.
So there's that, but it could be the year because, I mean, I think for Montreal, especially roommate Cody, he's big Montreal fan, and they look very promising on paper. They really do. But for whatever reason, just nothing really works for them. But Cole Caulfield is having a hot start right now. And I think what was it? Isn't it Nico
Hischier, number 13, Sam Reinhart,
number 13, Cole Caulfield, number 13, all leading the league in goals right now. And I think
that's
Nikita
like
Kucherov,
goosebumps.
It is. I think Nikita Kucherov broke that the other night, but
ignore
it.
Whatever.
Yeah, ignore him. He's fine. He's Russian. Ignore him.
Russians don't count.
Yeah, they don't count. They're not. Yeah.
They're not human.
But yeah, they're not human.
I meant that in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. The Cole Caulfield pick is a little out there, but could happen.
I think it might be a good pick.
Yeah.
I think especially 4 or 5 years down the road, I know Cole Caulfield has this idea around him that people hype him up a whole lot. And he hasn't showed anything in the NHL, right? I do think he's one of the premier shooters in the NHL. Yeah. That kid's got a cannon, which is hilarious for a guy who's 5'8".
Yeah.
Whatever he is.
He's also 23.
5'9". Yeah.
He's
got so much potential. He's got the world in front of him. Winning a Rocket at this point in his career, I don't think is out of the stretch of imagination. I think it's possible. And especially he's the guy on that team. Right? You have Slavkovsky, he's great. You have Nick Suzuki, he's great. They're both feeding Cole Caulfield.
Yeah.
Slavkovsky scores goals too. And I used to be a Slavkovsky hater. I kind of like that guy now. I think he's kind of gross. He's that 6'4" frame.
Yeah.
He's kind of nasty.
He is.
But I think Cole Caulfield is still the guy in Montreal. Yeah. I don't think 50-something goals is out of the realm of idea or realm of possibility. I think realistically probably more like 40, 45.
Yeah.
He will actually get 40 goals this season. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
But this hot start might help him a lot. I think that's a good pick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think he's already got 10 goals, so Just needs 30 more to get 40. So we'll see. But I digress. Moving on to the Vezina, who I think we both have the same pick here.
Yeah.
Igor Shesterkin. That's my pick, and I believe that's yours as well.
That is my pick as well. He started out the season hot. He's been great. I know we were talking about a lot of contradictions in this episode by me, but I know I was talking about I don't think an $11 million goalie is worth it. At the same time, I do think he's worth about that money. I just don't think the Rangers should pay him that money with where they're at right now.
No, it's a good.
He's best goalie in the show.
Yeah, no, he is, and I think he gets that Vezina pretty easily. But up next, the Art Ross. Who do you got?
I have Nikita Kucherov winning there. Ross, guy's nasty. He showed that year in and year out since I believe it was 2018-19. He put up 128 points, which is the most points in the cap era.
Yeah,
beat Joe Thornton for that, Jumbo. And he's still producing at an insane level, and especially with Connor McDavid going down with injury, he's week to week right now, I believe. Who knows what's going to come of that? It's kind of the same situation as last year, you know. Connor McDavid isn't doing Connor McDavid things, at least to what we expect of him now. There are two guys that are also capable of that. It's Kucherov and McKinnon.
Yeah.
And I think Kucherov's going to get there this year, but who knows?
Yeah. I feel like that's a good pick. Like you said, with McDavid being out, it's like it's really anyone's award to win right now. And did he win last year? I don't even think he won last year, did he?
Kucherov won last year.
Yeah. So it's not like McDavid, could. I just thought he'd be out for blood this year, but, he's hurt. My pick for Art Ross is Mr. Nathan McKinnon. I know he's kind of off to a slow start, but it's still Nathan McKinnon. He can turn it on whenever the fuck. I think, Colorado's just off to a rough start, but I think they're going to figure it out. They have a somewhat healthy team for the most part, obviously missing Landeskog, but is it Landeskog?
It's Landeskog's injured. He's probably going to be medically retired.
Yeah.
It's the same situation as like Carey Price. I think it looks better than Carey Price and like Shea Weber and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like you haven't played in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taves, same situation.
Yeah. He did say on Instagram, did you see that comment that he responded to? Someone was like, retire or something like that. And he was like, no.
I hope he does. I love Gabe Landeskog, and he's young enough that he's still it's not like a Shea Weber where you're 34.
Yeah, not true.
Body's not getting any younger. You're just going to go out and injure yourself again. He's young enough; he could still recover. That I believe he's 28 or 29.
Oh, yeah, he's got time. Yeah,
he's in his 20s still. He'd be fine.
Yeah, he'll be chilling. But I think Nate Mack is a comfortable pick for me. I trust him. I think he can do it.
I hope
Calder.
So, because real quick, he was my. I think I picked 3rd in fantasy, and I picked up Nathan McKinnon. So I'm praying that he comes back. I hope I'm wrong here.
Yeah, hopefully.
But
all right, Calder.
I think we got the same pick here.
Yep.
This is a bit of a homer pick.
Yeah. Well, okay. Hold on. This player, he's averaging 2 points per game. He's a rookie. He's the first overall selection. I guess he'll be playing. We'll see how he does. We're recording this on Monday. This will come out Wednesday, so he will have played Tuesday night. So maybe his point per game might not be perfect. If anything, it'll be point per game. But I can't overlook that. Yeah, I know, that'd be crazy. We can't overlook that. He's at a point per game, if not 2 points per game. At the time of recording, Macklin Celebrini has 1 game played and 2 points, 1 goal, 1 assist.
He's on pace for 82 goals, 82 assists. Like, you can't argue with that.
No, because he missed some games. He missed like
10
but
games.
He
hasn't played. Oh, yeah. Huh.
So
he's on pace for 71 goals, 71 assists, or whatever the hell it is. 69
break the record.
70.
Yeah.
The Sharks got 69 games left to win.
True. That's right. We did that earlier. Yeah. So he's on pace right now for 70 goals and 70 assists. So I feel like I can't not give it to Celebrini at this point.
I'm going to change my Hart and Art Ross and Rocket vote.
And Vezina, he's going to play goal too.
Yeah, he's going to play goal
both
too.
ways.
Norris, why not?
Norris,
Throw it in there. Give him everything.
Yeah, centers play defense usually. They have to play back.
Yeah, exactly. Give him the Bill Masterton. He recovered from an injury, right?
Exactly.
Give him everything.
Unbiased pick here, by the
Masterton.
way. But I mean, I really do think it's possible. I mean, we saw Bedard go down with injury and still end up winning. Granted, it was Bedard who was averaging a lot more than the second place, but I do think it's a tough. It's going to be a tough win for him. I think he's got to really show up and show out.
Yep.
This is again just putting my faith in the Sharks and Celebrini, which often leads to depression, but it's okay. I think that we're gonna have to stand behind him and trust the process. I think Matvei Michkov is another solid pick as well. He would be my number 2. Actually, my number 2 is Will Smith. Because number 3 is Matvei Michkov. No, he's got 2 goals in 11 games.
No,
he's got 2 goals though.
I'm not mad. I think. So I also picked Celebrini. I am hoping that kid turns out. I think of the one game that I watched this season that he played in. The one game he's played in, he looked phenomenal. He looked like a game changer.
All of his games.
Yeah, all games. He's looked like a game changer. Which you can say the same thing about Matvei Michkov, and obviously he has more games played. He's also older. Given it's a year, it's not a big difference, but he is an older player, and he's got pro hockey under his belt.
Yeah,
I think what Celebrini did in that one game, we'll see how this goes on for the rest of the season, but I think what he did in that one game is really showing like this kid can compete at the best level in the world.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
I mean, he looked comfortable on line 1.
He looked fantastic on line 1, given he's not really competing for line 2 spot minutes competing with, but at the same time, he looked very comfortable going up against the other team's best defensive group, best forward group. Like, it looked fine. The other guy that I think this might ruffle some Stars fans' feathers, but I don't think should be in the conversation, but he is, because for some reason he's still eligible to win the Calder, is Logan Stankoven. That guy is gross. Don't get me wrong. He's 21 years old. He's nasty at hockey. He's on one of, I think, the best teams in the NHL. It's probably the most complete team in the NHL. And he's an impact player. But at the same time, you played a full playoffs.
Yeah.
You have like 100-something pro hockey games under your belt. Why are you competing with guys like Matvei Michkov, specifically pro American hockey games?
Yeah.
Playing in the AHL and the NHL. Why are you competing with somebody like Matvei Michkov, who played, a season and a half in the KHL with limited minutes, and Macklin Celebrini, who played in college? You're competing with Cutter Gauthier. There's
same
other
with
guys.
Lane Hudson.
Yeah, it's like Lane Hudson, Luchenko. Guys who have never played pro hockey before or played pro hockey in Russia in very, very limited minutes. Right? Why are you competing with them when you played the entirety of last year's NHL playoffs?
Yeah.
You played, 18 games in the NHL playoffs? I think it was more than that.
I know. I don't love how they don't. Like, they should. I get it, because, like, I get it in terms of, like, the stat being, regular season games. But what I don't understand is what is the difference between regular season and playoff? Like, there's really not. I mean, there is a difference, but
realistically, playoffs matter more.
Exactly. So
They're harder hockey.
Yeah, and like we talked about this when we were talking about getting you on, but even like NHL was talking about him, like, first day of the NHL, and it's like, no, I know he didn't technically play the given times or whatnot, but I don't think he should be up for this conversation. And if he does win, we're not going to fucking count it. We're going to make our own. So
absolutely.
We're going to leave him out of any Calder talk. Yeah.
It's not going to be biased at all.
Nope. There's going to be, the thing is, when we're talking, any moving forward, any like rookie talk we have, like Calder race, we're going to leave Logan out of it for the sake of our own opinion. And, if he doesn't win, or if he wins, we'll give our Calder trophy to the actual winner that we picked.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of dragging this on and on, but I think it's kind of ridiculous that they pin him in the same conversation as these guys. Because, like, you go back to the last one that I remember people complaining about was Artemi Panarin back when he was a rookie with the Blackhawks. That would have been, what, 2015, 16, I believe?
Yeah.
I think it was his rookie year, and he was like 21. But he had never played a pro hockey in America. He had played in the KHL. He was one of those guys who signed that KHL contract and played over there for a few years, right? He had never played American pro hockey, which is a different game.
Yeah.
It's a more high scoring game. It's a quicker game. Like, it's completely different. So, like, you look at a guy like Matt Michkov who played 2 years in the KHL, but that's as a 17, 18-year-old and then an 18, 19-year-old. It's a little bit different than if you're looking at a guy like Logan Stankoven, who has 100 AHL and NHL pro games under his belt, played an entire playoffs with the Dallas Stars, who went deep. It's not like they got bounced in the first round. He played 6 games.
Yeah.
They went deep in that playoff run, went to the Western Conference Finals. It's like, why is he being compared to kids who just came out of college?
Yeah.
Who are, 19 years old. Yeah, they played pro hockey, but it was in Russia. They were playing 10 minutes a night. That doesn't make any sense to me. He was playing a full-on role with the Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
He deserves it. Don't get me wrong, but you look at a guy like William Eklund, again, at Homer. He was excluded from the Calder Trophy because he played 8 games at the beginning of the season 2 years in a row. 16 games at the beginning of NHL seasons is not the same as 16 games in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Why is this guy still eligible? Anyways, that's my rant done. Piss me off.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But that wraps it up for all that. Those are our picks. We'll check in about the halfway point of the season, see where we're at, and then of course at the end of the season as well. But we appreciate you guys for listening. But me and Alan are going to go on a Sharks rant for about 10 minutes. So anyone that's interested,
Let's go Sharks.
Keep listening if you want to hear some just crazy delusions. That's really what this is for us. We're just going to talk Sharks. But if you aren't wanting to listen to it, click off and save yourself the time. But if you are interested, we're going to get into it. The Sharks, Mike Greer, just made a really amazing trade. I love it so much. Mike Greer is... I think he could win GM of the year this year.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Granted, see, I say that, but as soon as it came out of my mouth, I feel like the Sharks have to show some promise first before he gets that nod.
I think a 3-game winning streak is promise, given that came after a 9-game losing streak. But at the same time, you win 3 games in a row as a team that put up 40-something points last season. Like, that's promise right there. I don't think they've had a 3-game win streak in the last 2 years. Like,
that is true.
They might have had 1.
No, they went on. Remember the year that Bedard 2 seasons ago, I remember they went on a bit of a heater, and I was like, boys, what are we doing?
The Sharks were in the end of the season. I think it was like 4 games left. They went on a 3-game heater, just a heater. And it's like, why are you doing this? The season is gone. It's worthless. There's no point. I'm happy with Will Smith. I love that guy.
I am too. Yeah.
But he's going to be a great secondary option to Macklin Celebrini, and at some point down the line, probably another very highly touted prospect.
Yeah.
Hopefully Gavin McKenna, but who knows, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't really know how the future holds. I don't really know that I even want the Sharks to win the first overall pick this coming year. But like you wrote down, this team is definitely miles ahead of where they were last year. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe not the start of the year, but we're not getting blown out.
In the start of the season, the first 13 games last year, they'd gone on back-to-back benders, letting in 10 goals a game, right?
Yeah.
The fact that their worst game this season was an outlier and we let in 8 goals, that is not good.
No.
It shows there's improvement here. So they played Vancouver 2 nights ago, right? Mm-hmm. That game was the 1-year anniversary of Vancouver blowing the Sharks out 10-1. And it went down to the wire. They lost. They lost 3-2 in regulation, but again, the Canucks, they scored the game winner with 30 seconds left, given the Sharks did tie it up with a minute left, but that's neither here nor there.
Yep.
There's improvement here, which is what's amazing. It's amazing.
Yes.
It's very fantastic.
Exactly.
It's
what we want. That is what we want. That is all we're looking for in this day and age for as a Sharks fan. Like, we're just looking for improvement. And not necessarily in the standings, just more of like players overall. Because we definitely still need a high draft pick this year. There's still some pieces missing. But I will say, like, I mean, starting off last year, even at this point last year, I was like, the Sharks are well far away from playoff berth. But since Mike Greer's been moving some players around, that has changed my opinion on it, and I feel like they're a lot closer than we're hoping for. So
I want to talk about one thing real quick.
Yeah.
I have to pull up the statistic.
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second. It's involving a player that the Sharks acquired in the off season, right before the season, last season. Goes by the name of Yaroslav Askarov. All right. Okay. So I saw this today. Hold up, I follow him on Instagram and he posted it. I love that guy. It's gone. I believe he, throughout the beginning of the season, first of all, he's 5-0-0. The Barracuda are solid this year, which is interesting because we pulled up a lot of our talented players. Daniil Gushin, you have Ethan Cardwell, a couple other guys. Obviously, Eklund's been a full-time player for the last 2 years, but guys like that. I believe he's 5-0-0 and has something crazy like a 959 save percentage and 2 shutouts in 5 games played.
Yeah.
Guy has been unreal. He's played one NHL game. I think it's 3.
Okay.
So it's something like that. Some astronomically low amount of NHL games. And considering they picked him up for,
pocket change
acquired for Tomas Hertl.
Yeah.
Guys I didn't really care about, and a guy I didn't really care about, and picks I didn't really care about.
It was just part of, it's part of the plan. It was getting, like, essentially we got Yaroslav Askarov for Tomas Hertl.
Yeah, which is
who's a great player.
Pick.
Yeah, great player, great spectacular player. But we didn't need him, and he wasn't going to fit our game plan of moving forward. And to flip that, in the moment when I saw that Hertl trade, it was a little unsettling. But also, like, what are we going to get from Vegas? Vegas never has anything in there. They get rid of everything they have. They get rid of picks. They get rid of any future that they have. They just get rid of it. So I was like, well, we could turn that around, maybe take a good draft pick out of it. But we get the best goalie prospect who has not played a game. Dustin, if you're listening, love you. But
Dustin Wolf's nasty.
Yeah, he's awesome. So gross, and he's also a Calder favorite as well for me.
Absolutely, I think he should be up there because the Flames aren't bad right now.
No,
they're not bad.
Really well. No,
which is crazy because that team was awful last year, and they're basically the same.
Yeah, no, it is. They've picked up a couple pieces, but I think Yaroslav Askarov is the best goalie prospect, which means a player who has not played enough games. Dustin Wolf has now, so we're putting him out of there. But even then, before that, he was still ranked above him. So
Askarov, I'm looking at it right now. He's played 3 NHL games, all with the Predators. His first game was in 2022-23. He had an .886 save percentage with a .415 goals against average. That's in 1 game. So he let in 4 goals off 31 shots. Last year, he had a 1.47 goals against average, 943 save percentage in 2 games. Let in 2 goals off 33 shots. This year, obviously, hasn't played an NHL game yet. They just played tonight. So that's why I saw that statistic this morning, and for whatever reason, it's gone. He's played 6 games. He has a 151 goals against average and a 950 save percentage. He's let in 9 goals off of 171 shots in the AHL.
Holy shit.
Or, pardon me, 180 shots. Those are saves. 180 shots. 2 shutouts. He's 5-1-0. That guy's gross.
He is. How long do you think he stays in the AHL for?
I hope not much longer because I love Mackenzie Blackwood. Vanecek's he's a good goalie. Obviously, he's in the National Hockey League. You have to be really good to get there.
Yes, correct.
You have to be really, really good. You have to be the top, 0.1%. But at the same time, it's like, does that guy deserve an NHL spot over a 22-year-old that's torching the American Hockey League? No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Trade him somewhere else that can use him. Trade him to somebody with a terrible backup.
Yeah. So do you think Askarov comes up this season? Like
absolutely.
Full time?
I think he's probably in a backup role.
Yeah.
I think Vanecek is definitely gone by the deadline. I think Blackwood and Askarov is like the tandem for the next couple seasons. I think that's who you run with. Blackwood's obviously been around the league. Yeah. He's played on 2 different teams now. Played for the Devils, now the Sharks. And he's been a starter since he was 20. He was like 21 when he became the Devils starter, which was not the best position for him. I do think he's a great goalie.
Yeah.
He's never played on a team with a good defense. He's never played on a good team or on a team that controls the puck in front of him.
Yeah.
The Sharks sure as hell don't do that. Yeah. And he consistently keeps the team in games 95% of the time, which is all you can ask for a goalie, right? So keep him. Vanecek, I like Vitek Vanecek. I think he's a good goalie, but I have zero affiliation to him. I don't really care if they keep him around. And you have this guy who's a budding star in the AHL, right? Mm-hmm. His stats, again, Dustin Wolf is nasty. Great goalie. He's insane.
That's why he's in the show right now.
And especially him, I mean, he's 6'1", something like that. Yeah. That's a smaller goalie in the NHL, which, first of all, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What that guy's able to do, his skating ability is astronomical. It's crazy. He looks like UC Saros 2.0.
Yeah.
And I hope for the Flames that he becomes that. I think he will.
Yeah.
At the same time, we're talking about the best goalie prospect we've seen. I mean, I guess Jesper Wallstedt's also up there.
Yeah.
But he's...
See, my thing with prospect, though, is like, Jesper Wallstedt, I feel like, has played enough games to not be considered that anymore.
That's true.
In my eyes. That's just how I see
it. He's been in the AHL for, 2 seasons in a row now?
Yeah, the 2.
I don't remember seeing his stats, but I don't remember him standing out to me. Like when Dustin Wolf was playing the AHL, that stood out, right?
Yeah.
Yaroslav Askarov last year playing in the AHL, obviously he got beat out, I believe, for the whatever the top goalie award is for the AHL by Dustin Wolf.
Yeah.
Right? The last 2 seasons because Dustin Wolf's nasty. But Askarov was up there, right?
Yeah.
You saw stuff about Askarov, pitching shutouts, doing push-up or not push-ups, but bench presses with the net.
Yeah, with the net.
And his stats were ridiculous. And it's like, this guy deserves his flowers. He deserves his chance. I think that the Sharks should pull him up much sooner rather than later. Yeah. I think they should get him in the NHL, get him experience, get him some shots. Because it is different hockey in the AHL versus the NHL.
No, it is. And that's my thing, is just like getting him used to that. But that pretty much wraps it up. We're at an hour now. If you listen through that, appreciate it. Appreciate you guys listening to us talk about the Sharks. But
69-0, baby, here on out.
Yeah, here we come. But no, we'll be back. The season's back in swing. We're back in swing. Coming at you on Wednesdays. If you guys, think of anything you guys want us to talk about, you can reach out on Instagram. Go follow it right down there below Alan at Good Old Hockey Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. This will be on the new YouTube channel, I believe, hopefully, if I do it right. So be sure to subscribe here if you're new. Give this video a like. Give us a follow on Instagram. You can listen to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. But with that being said, Alan, great talking with you. We're gonna do this next week. I hope you had a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Give us a little rookie lap. Walk around your. We should have done it before, but run around your couch. You got to do a little rookie lap. Bucket off.
Wait, hold on. We gotta do the
Yeah. A little rookie lap right there for Alan. But oh, that was good. But yeah, everyone listening, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.